Yes, people, we are back in the house. 12 man's back. Race for Europe is back. It's been a great weekend for some of us, and for some of us, maybe not so much. We're going to get into it, people. Race for Europe. We've got Errol in the house. We got Wolfie. We got Pete. We got Deji and LB that are coming on. There's no Charlie tonight. Don't know why. Not sure. We'll find out what's happening. And I did try and get Lewis and shout some other Chelsea lads, but their phones are all off, man. It's almost as if they drew at the weekend or something. But there's no Billy tonight. But I have got a Villa fan in the house. We have got Rich back as ever from Villa Park Podcast. Rich, how you doing, bruv? It's been too long, man.
It has been too long, and I wish I was coming on in better circumstances for my club, or my club, as Deji will say shortly. But yeah, great to see you all, boys, and looking forward to the chat.
Love that, man. Love that. LB in the house as well, taking 3 points and in absolute fashion, I must say, against the dusty Manchester United side. And I do miss Dan, but I sometimes wish he was still on here just so we could laugh at how bad his team is because they are an absolute mess. But Deji will be coming on as well. Make sure you're following OK Jerseys, people. Links in the description, links in the live chat. You get 8% off of the shirts. They're only £15 and you do get 8% off with the code 12man. And that'll get you 8% off as well. So go and check them out, show them some love. And make sure you hit like and subscribe. We're on the way to 60K, which is the next target. So let's make sure we get there as soon as possible. Bit of a different format tonight, right? Because there's quite a lot of people now on Race for Europe. What I thought I'd do is just chuck some kind of true or false, or as Christian likes to call it, truth or trash statements. And the first one I'm going to throw is this one for the panel. Obviously, we played Nottingham Forest at the weekend, and I thought Arsenal looked good. Some people said that we didn't have to look that good because Forest were trash. And I thought we'd start with this one, Wolfie, because, a lot of people are saying that Nottingham Forest are now in trouble because of Ange Postecoglou. Now, I don't think personally Ange had any effect on the game whatsoever. I thought it was pretty much zero effect on the game. I thought Nottingham Forest were pretty poor. However, I thought Arsenal were pretty good, and I think both statements could be true. Before I come to Wolfie on this, anybody else on the panel believe Nottingham Forest are in serious trouble now they've appointed Ange Postecoglou?
I think they're in trouble, bro. I think they're in trouble. I did the watch along for the game. To be honest with you, yeah, even if they kept Nuno, I always thought they was going to drop quite a lot from last year. I think they massively overachieved. I think Wolfie's massively overhyping the squad. However, they've massively downgraded manager. You know what I mean? That's just facts. You know what I mean? This is a manager that finished 17th, as Deji will know. You know what I mean? This is not a good manager. I did a watch along for the game, and I just didn't understand what on earth the tactics were. They were playing deep, but they weren't defending particularly well. They didn't really have any sort of counter-attacking threat. I don't know what they were playing at, man. I don't know what Angie's got them set up to do. I think they'll finish bottom half of the table, man. I'll be real. I'd be pretty surprised if they finish top half of the table. Now, whether that's in trouble, I don't know. It depends on Forest fans' standards, but I don't think they're finishing top half.
Yeah, yeah. I totally agree. And sorry for my late arrival. I'm with my learned friend LB 1000%. Look, I think Nottingham Forest is in so much trouble that I promise to make it every Monday just to spend time with Wolfie and create memories. That's how much trouble Nottingham Forest is in.
You're flirting with me, Dej.
I'm just here, bro, to spend time with you, bro, because I'm looking at...
I'm married, bro, sorry.
Somebody that I called a brother. You know, we've been on this journey, this race for Europe. I mean, some of us are fraudsters. And, we face the real possibility, a bit like Dan United. And Dan United, big up to you. Make sure you like and subscribe to our brother. This is the next casualty, by the way, guys. Wolfie. Everyone clap for Wolfie. That team is... That manager, yeah, your brother, your twin brother, by the way, Wolfie, yeah? Ange Postecoglou. Wolfie no clue is what I saw someone put in the chat yesterday. Mate, I think you're done, bro. I really do. And you know what? You see, you deserve this, Wolfie. You really do deserve this. Because the way you shook your bum last season for Nottingham Forest, it was borderline disgraceful. It was X-rated stuff. And, people who speak too much, they deserve what comes next. And the calamity that is coming to your club with Postecoglou. I think Postecoglou is already telling the media that he's guaranteeing a win on Wednesday. The guy's a madman, and I'm here for it. And I'm so delighted that I don't have to go through it personally, and I get to watch it myself. So yeah, good luck, Wolfie. And look, I've got some instrumentals that I didn't use last season, and I've got some lyrics that I didn't get to use, and I'll WhatsApp them to you in case you want to do your own freestyle.
Oh, Errol, let me bring you in, bro, because you wanted to come in, man. Before I bring Wolfie in, go on, bro.
Yeah, I'm just inspired by the appointment. I'll be really honest with you. Like, in terms of kicking forward, you got rid of Nuno, who had obviously taken you to heights that Forest haven't seen in this, this decade, this century, whichever way you want to look at it. And the reality is now they went for a manager that finished 16th, 17th last season domestically. He plays some really high-risk football without having the tools to be able to back it up and shut up shop. And don't get me wrong, I don't think Saturday's game was a reflection on Ange's particular style of play by any means. But I expect over time that he will want to implement his own style on these players, and he'll be taking them away from the good football that Nuno had been able to implement for them. And I just don't see a world where Forest enable themselves to produce enough quality, compete with the likes of, Aston Villa, Newcastle, Spurs, Chelsea, City, Arsenal, Liverpool, to really go and knock on those doors this season to be there or thereabouts. As much as Deji wants to poke fun at it, I genuinely do think that this could be Wolfie's last season on the race for Europe, and great addition by all accounts. I think he's been good value for money, but I don't think his team are going to be able to deliver for him enough. And again, that's no slight on him and his team. He's going to back them. But, the last season he had a lot of chest for the standards and the direction he believed that his gaff, or not even the gaffer, the owner, was taking this club. And it feels like he's just absolutely pulled the rug from underneath all of your feet, because just when you thought you were headed in one direction, he's went, nah, let's spin the car, we'll spin the block, and we'll go back down to the Championship because that was a lot easier.
Go on, then, Wolfie.
Man, before Wolfie comes in,
go on, Rich. Go on, Rich.
There's players getting injured before he's even turned up at the door. Was it Aina pulled a hamstring? Just at the thought of the running that he'd have to do under Ange Postecoglou. That tells you all you need to know. So I just worry about the style of football, what he's asking them to do. They've signed players that have been signed for Nuno, and now they've come in and they've got Ange Postecoglou to contend with. The injuries that you boys are going to get is going to be crazy. So
Rich,
it's going to be entertaining.
Can I just add to that, Rich, with the talk of injuries and Murillo going off as well? Yeah. Injury is a big thing now. I'm sorry.
He's a monster.
I'm looking at that back four right now, and I'm looking at that without Murillo, and I'm seeing goals going to be conceded. He is your guy. He is your guy. Look, I'm bigging him up, by the way, because he's absolutely quality. I think he's absolutely quality, but without him, it is absolutely clear that other three in defence are not good enough. They're just not. Like, they're really, really not good enough. And it was obvious when he left the pitch that you guys were just cut open time after time. Milenkovic was good last season, had a few good games, and good majority of the season, but he don't look like the same player that we were looking at last season.
I think we need a whole new panel here, because
you'll be on a whole new panel next year because you won't be on this show, mate.
well, maybe this show won't exist for some of the takes I'm hearing, because quite frankly, it is pathetic, but also inspiring to hear what you guys have to say. You are that rattled by my club that you have these dreams of failure for you. And Richard and Pete, I'm looking your way. I'm a little disappointed in both of you with your little jibes there, with your factually incorrect jibes as well, because Murillo went off with a knock. He's not injured. He's fine. So sorry to disappoint you on that.
Did he play the full match?
You literally just said, without Murillo, this club won't be able to do this, that, and the other. When he's out, blah, blah, blah.
What have I just said? I said, when he left the pitch, it was quite obvious that the other three defenders that were there are not good enough. And it was
and again, Pete,
open time after time. They could have had 6. He could have had 6 on Saturday.
And Pete, that disappoints me that you say that, to be honest, because I thought a man as well educated as you in the footballing world would understand that Einar, as Rich pointed out, wasn't there. We had to play a makeshift left back in Marato, who's I would argue is a makeshift centre back.
He was
He's
awful.
absolute garbage,
My
even
point.
as a centre
You
back.
got makeshift defenders to fill in for defenders that are half decent or good quality defenders. If they're not there, the defenders that are left aren't good enough, which is my original point. So thank you for proving my point in what you just said.
No, because you don't understand. Like Zinchenko is meant to come in at left back, can't play against Arsenal. You do understand those rules, yeah?
You were saying he's shit. You've been saying he's shit for the last year. Now you're
Yeah, he's a shit defender, but he's a good midfielder. He's a good midfielder.
Come on.
He's a good midfielder. In
Pete,
Andrew's
you've fallen
system,
for it.
Zinchenko
You've fallen
works.
for Wolfie's trick
I
again.
know what he's doing, but I'm just calling it.
I even got started. Wait, hold on. And then LB, the man who had integrity, when me and him sat here after week 1 saying nothing's changed at Man United and everyone called us out for it and said that, and now they're sitting here agreeing. I'm disappointed in your take. You know that Ange Postecoglou came in 5 minutes before that kickoff started. You know that the style you saw on the pitch would not have been an Ange Postecoglou style. He got a lower XG than even Nuno got at that. So for you to try and play out like he's had some kind of influence on that game is quite frankly pathetic.
Dude, could I ask you a question? Yes or no? Did Ange Postecoglou finish 17th with Tottenham Hotspur last season? Yes or no?
Yes.
Okay. So that tells me that he's not a great manager because that's terrible. Like he could have got them relegated in under the season.
Yeah.
And therefore, I think you'll finish in the bottom half of the table. I'm not saying you'll be relegated.
Where did Ange Postecoglou finish in his first season at Spurs?
I think he finished like 5th or 6th, no?
5th.
Yeah, and then when he's ready to take the
And then
team
we sunk like
forward,
the Titanic.
he sank like the Titanic. And I feel
is
that he's
Ange
coming into a
Postecoglou factually Spurs' most successful manager in the last 40 years?
Are you ready to take that risk?
It's a yes/no question. There's no risk involved in the question.
Are you ready to take that risk?
Eddie, is he your most successful manager in the last 40 years?
It depends on what side of the fence you sit on.
I'd say technically yes. However, this is Tottenham Hotspur we're speaking about. Sorry, Dej. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
You're removing all nuance in being able to say that because it's not as black and white as that. Let's be honest. If we're gonna have honest,
It's pretty black and white. Trophy, no trophy.
No, but again, like I say, so on the face of it, trophy, fine. Yeah, he's won a trophy. But in terms of success, in terms of domestic, no, it was an abject failure, and there's no shame in saying that. But the point that I think a lot of us are trying to make is, how does a manager like Ange Postecoglou improve on what Nuno was able to implement and actually achieve last season? It's as simple as that. But based on what we've seen him in this league for the last 2 seasons, and we are not convinced that he has got the tools or the minerals or the system and style of play to actually elevate a team beyond. This season, you're in the Europa League or you're in the conference? Is it the Europa League?
Europa, mate.
Okay, so you're in the Europa. So are you now letting us know that you're going to hedge your bets on a European Cup competition silverware?
That's what he's come in for, Errol. That is why he's been brought in.
If that's what he's been brought in for, then you're best just saying that from the outset and don't expect nothing from the league for him. Because we know.
Do you agree with that, Wolfie? Do you think that's why they brought him in, Wolfie? Though, do you? Because I think that's what it is, Wolfie.
No, they haven't brought him in for that, man. They brought him in as part. That is part of the equation. But I just got to pick up on the hypocrisy from Errol and a couple of others. To be fair, it's not just Errol on this panel. Because suddenly Nuno's this messiah that suddenly existed in your guys' minds. Yet in the last 3 or 4 months, you say, that. You know what? Nuno's tactics have been found out. He's too defensive. It's easy to figure out Forest. People have now figured out Forest. You're too defensive, too counter-attacking.
Show me one account of when I've ever said anything to that effect.
March the 14th, 8:37 p.m. Go check it out on this very show.
Receipts.
I actually think.
Say that again.
March 17th, 8:37 p.m.
Can I just add Wolfie's
just giving out there.
doing a great job. Wolfie is the master of deflection. And Wolfie was that wolf character in Little Red Riding Hood. So don't be fooled by this brother. We know what he's about, yeah? Acting like a granny out over there on that screen. Look, let's be honest, yeah? Let's be honest. No one really figured out Nuno's tactics that deep. But we have figured you out now because we know exactly what we're going to get with Nottingham Forest under Ange. High life for life. And we're going to get the inverted fullbacks. That is guaranteed. The question I ask you, Wolfie, and this will determine whether you should show your face next week, Monday, or not. Sorry to pull it out there, Dan Potts, but this is getting serious now. Are you prepared, listening to my brother Errol there, are you prepared to accept a disgraceful season where you get relegated, but you win the Carabao Cup? Would that be good enough for you? Because that's what you're after right now. That's potentially what you could achieve this season or next.
Well, Deji, firstly, thank you for explaining the weather to me. I've realized how windy it is today, and I've noticed you've been on 3 or 4 streams. The only problem is I don't know what orifice that wind is coming out of right now. Is it your mouth or a potential other place, mate? So what kind of dumb question is that? So that's the only 2 scenarios that Forest have this season. Win the Carabao Cup and get relegated, or what? What's the other scenario?
Well,
that's it.
Look, that's what Errol's saying. Are you prepared to forfeit?
No, that's what you're saying. Errol never said that.
For a trophy.
Errol never said that. You said it.
He pretty much did.
He pretty much did. Errol, did you say that?
I said you may as well concede at this point that you may as well put all your eggs into the basket of winning the Europa League and forego your form in the league this season. And I don't think that's a wild thing to say based on what we've seen from
I think that's nearly as wild as Deji's take, if I'm being honest with you.
But why? All right. So okay. I remember you talking about the standards and Forest being this type of club now and moving forward and all of these things, which was at the time fine. If that's how you felt your club was going, based on what you could see, that's absolutely fine. But there has been a material change now. And if you just took your Forest tinted glasses off, the Wolfie that we all collectively spoke to 6 months ago would be telling us right now, keep Ange Postecoglou far away from our club. If we would have asked you back end of that season where Spurs were finishing and getting into a Europa League final, would you take this man at your club? Your answer would have been a flat out no, and you'd be classed as a liar if you try and convince us anything other than that. And all I'm saying now is you've got to make do with what you've got. And if you're about to make do with what you've got, you may as well concede your form in the league. It will be up and down. It'll be rocky. He has his best chance of trying to get you some silverware in the Europa League, which for you, as the club that you want to see silverware, that would be deemed as a success. So I don't understand why what we're saying is that far out there and crazy, when realistically this is what we've seen, and this is what Deji lived through. Deji had to live through it. So he's to be able to tell you.
Yeah, but you're missing the biggest point in what you're saying there, Errol. You're talking about Spurs. You're building your foundations on Spurs.
When was the last time you won a trophy? Respectfully, because I don't know. I don't keep up to tabs with Forest history like that. When was the last time your club won a trophy?
What, as in the trophies?
No, like
1990.
Okay, so all right, so 35 years ago, you won a trophy. How are you not in the same conversation as Spurs? Respectfully,
what do you mean, how are we not in the same conversation as Spurs? We have more prestige.
Until last season, Spurs weren't winning trophies like that.
Oh, yeah, but I'll tell you why. Because let's look at what Spurs did. They took Nuno and then they fired him after 3 months.
Okay.
And we took Nuno, and look what he did, 17th to 7th. Okay, that's the difference.
And now you just got rid of
we take from Spurs, we fix. Whatever Spurs take, they break. They had Conte. They had Mourinho.
You didn't. An hour before Ange was appointed, you didn't want him. You didn't have him in your list. You had every other manager apart from Ange in your list.
All right, Rich, firstly, what goes on my channel stays on my channel. Okay, you don't bring him to these public forums. And secondly, just because he wasn't on my want list doesn't make him on my not want list. There's a
Would you have
difference there.
taken, based on the football we seen last season at Spurs, would you have accepted him at the end of the season if he had said he was linked to go to Forest and that was how your summer was going to start? Would you have accepted him based on the standards that you would consider to set yourself last season? It's a very straightforward yes or no.
No is the answer. He's not. He wasn't on my list, but he's here now, and the squad is set to work with him. That's the thing. It's an attack-minded squad with attack-minded players, and they will do it. I actually, as much as Pete's trying to cause this rift between us, he does have some points within what he was saying about the defense. I think Milenkovic could become a problem because he's more suited to a mid-block or a lower block in terms of, and he's a fantastic defender. But I disagree that without Murillo, we're just going to collapse left, right, and center. And Murillo's not injured anyway. But I'm just actually flabbergasted that you guys are sitting here basing this all on a 3-0 loss to Arsenal.
No,
Let me ask you guys this one simple. Let me ask one final question. Dej. One final question. What was the score at Highbury? The Emirates last season under Nuno when Forest played Arsenal?
3-0.
3-0. So the exact same score as this season.
But we're not.
You guys weren't flipping. Actually, you were flipping backflip, saying, "Oh, that's Forest done, relegated, blah blah blah," and we still ended up in Europe.
But were we basing our opinions off of one game?
On what?
On your season, upcoming season.
What, last season or this season?
Well, basically, what LB's saying is we're not basing it off the 3-0. We're not
sitting there saying because you got beat 3-0 off Arsenal, we all reckon you're going to be dead.
It's the Ange thing.
We're combining the fact that you overachieved last year. You've got a worse manager, and I think you overrate your squad massively.
Okay, do you think our squad is better or worse this year or last year?
Worse. Well, I think this
yet to be proven either or.
Yeah.
So that's yet to be proven. And he's been here 5 minutes. You guys aren't even letting him, put his own team out yet.
No, but we've got to give our opinion.
Players are better. I think you, in terms of overall, in terms of your squad, you've bolstered your squad and you've got some good players.
Thank you for the honesty, Pete.
But then it is. I can't remember who said it on the panel, but it is remain to be seen because you've obviously got Europe to be added to that. So going Thursday, Sunday, Thursday, Monday, whatever it is going to take its toll. You talked to someone that suffered that 2 years ago, so I know it. So it's whether they can handle that. If they can handle that, and then Errol's point and Rich's point is valid because you've already got injuries that started to creep in, and is that going to continue? It's all up in the air still. But from what people are seeing already, and then in, I think that's what LB's saying right now is that people are pessimistic about your chances of fighting for Europe. I think, what did you have? Forest 6th or 5th to finish the season?
Yeah.
6th. I think what LB's saying, and LB, correct me if I'm wrong, you're saying that with those things that we've just talked about, not looking likely at all.
I'll be real, right? I'll keep it quick.
That's exactly what I meant, yeah.
I'll keep it quick because I want to move to topics, right? But I had Forest floating around 10th, 11th anyway with Nuno. And I'm going to keep them there for the pure fact that I don't really know what I'm going to get yet. Now, I think we could be very foolish to go, well, I saw enough to know that Forest are useless at the weekend. I think we're all assuming that under Ange it's going to be a bit similar to what it was under Tottenham, where you're going to have some really good games. And Nottingham Forest might even win by 2 or 3 goals in some games. And you think, oh, they look good. And there'll be other opportunities where you think, not so good. And that's why I've got you floating around like top half still, Wolfie, if I'm honest. That could change. We could get to October, November and think Andrew Forest just fit and he just didn't fit at Tottenham. And we've seen that before, right? Because Nuno didn't fit at Spurs. Jose Mourinho didn't fit at Spurs. Conte decided that he didn't want to fit at Spurs. And for whatever reason, they decided to get rid of Poch as well. So we've seen other managers that haven't particularly done well that Tottenham, but have done well at other clubs. So it could work the same with Ange, but I'm willing to give it more. A bit quickly on Arsenal, just very, very quickly. Gyökeres, another goal, getting a lot of hate. Don't quite know why. Eze, baller, Madueke, completely cooked, if I'm honest. Not that it was very hard against that left defender. My God, he was shocking. However, Madueke, big up to him. Zubimendi, really good performance, and Arsenal looking like when they can attack. can actually do some damage. So I hope Arteta's learned a lot from that, to be fair. And it's a big,
I don't
big kind of weekend for.
I don't think there was a lot to learn from that. I think the only thing that you guys showed in that game is, so far this season, is that when you come up against minnows, you are putting them to bed. I didn't see a difference between Leeds' performance and Nottingham Forest performance against yourselves. It was light work. It was men against
Would you
boys.
not agree that's not a bad thing, though, Dej, to just...
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. It was a good performance from you, because usually you would struggle with these sort of teams. And the way you brushed Nottingham Forest aside was what you should be doing, to be honest with you. So, I would say it's commendable that you were able to stay focused. I think it was very much a professional performance from your club. But again, the measure will be when you play the big boys. You've already lost to Liverpool, and we will see what you do this weekend. And just my final comment to Wolfie, this is not a footballing statement, so please forgive me, but I just want to contextualize it for Wolfie. The last time Nottingham Forest won a trophy, the movie Robin Hood under Kevin Costner, Prince of Thieves, came out. Just a point of reference to you. Wolfie.
And Brian Adams was #1 for 16 weeks.
Let me move to the next one, because I think it's quite a nice little segue, actually. This is the next statement. Let me know if you think this is truth or trash. Arsenal will beat Man City this weekend. I think it's been very, very interesting. I think LB would even admit, I don't want to play Arsenal. And then you beat Man United, and it's like, bring them on. That's how quickly football can change, man. What are you saying about this one, LB? I'll go to you
Where
first.
is it, Potts? Where is
It's
it?
at the Emirates.
I think Arsenal are favourites, obviously. You're more structured than us. We're still a bit mad, to be honest, the way we play football. But yeah, I don't know. Am I not going to get to glaze my team's performance in the derby? You're just skipping over that.
No, that's a nice little segue into it, isn't it? Surely.
Yeah, but this is giving me negative vibes.
Yeah.
Well, look, the reason I've put this question is obviously because I'm a gooner, but two, because a lot of people are believing Arsenal are favourites, like you've just said. So I kind of put this question in for both teams, really. I didn't really want to talk too much on Arsenal because I thought it was pretty much done that we beat Forest, etc. I was quite impressed with City, bro. I've got to be honest. I know Man United were trash, but I thought Manchester City were pretty good. I've got to be honest. I don't particularly think some of you had great games. I think we said earlier that Rodri and Reinders weren't even at it, and they still dominated the Man United midfield. But Foden impressed me. Haaland is just absolute killer, which we knew. And surely that's a little bit of positive for you, no?
Yeah, obviously it is. It's just weird because obviously I think we're going to change the way we play in a little bit. With some of the new players, with the new goalkeeper, I don't think we're going to be playing like as intense out of the back as we used to. We used to be like the most intense team in the world playing out of the back, obviously with Edison. I think we are just going to start lumping it up sometimes now. You know what I mean? Which is what I've been calling for a good 6-7 months, man. I've been saying we need to go a bit more direct, and that's exactly what we did yesterday against United. Donnarumma coming in, making a huge save. You know what I mean? The problem that City have at the moment is, right, we're still very fragile. We're a fragile team because of what happened last year. All the times that we went 1-0 up, 2-0 up, 3-0 up in one case against Feyenoord and didn't come out with the... So every time we go ahead, yeah, and then we concede a goal, we just drop off massively, yeah, and it's a mentality thing. All the players spoke about it, but it's easier said than done. You know what I mean? And what Donnarumma's going to do is just going to prevent a few more. He's not going to prevent everything, but he's going to prevent a couple of those goals going in, and that should help us. Do you know what I mean? Get more wins. And when we had that shot yesterday, yeah, if that goes in, that's 2-1. And I'm thinking at that point, yeah, shit, we're probably going to lose this game or draw.
Great save,
I think the mentality. But he makes a world-class save. Yeah, it was a world-class save. And then we go at the other end, score the third goal, the game's over. And so, yeah, I think that's obviously a big signing for us. You know, a lot of people want to talk about his distribution or that, whatever. But we had distribution with Edison and it wasn't working. I think for us, like, football changes, yeah, styles change. And I think Edison for us suited us for the whole time. But I think football, or maybe City, it might not be football as a whole, but City have changed. And I think we needed a new direction. And I think Donnarumma is going to be a great signing for us. So, yeah, I'm buzzing with that. And obviously, the biggest takeaway for me is Foden. That's the best I've seen Foden in playing a year. So, obviously, last year, he had shit going on, whatever he had going on, was poor. Still, by the way, got second highest goal scorer in our team. Still got like 16 goals in our competition for a player that was getting slagged off every week. So got 16 goals, which isn't bad for a midfielder. But yeah, man, I still think you're favourites for the game. I think you're massive favourites. But do you know what I mean? I think like with Donnarumma going there, at least we can go there and believe that we've got a chance. But yeah, Arsenal are favourites, man. It'd be stupid to say otherwise.
That's pathetic. That's pathetic. That's pathetic, bro.
What's pathetic?
You sat here on the opening show of this season, and who did you tip to win the league?
Yeah, I back City, innit?
You still backing City?
I don't know, man. I'm confused, innit?
Wow. Wow.
I'm confused. I don't know. I'm looking at Liverpool getting win after win after win, and I'm seeing my team not really knowing what to expect. But it's early days. It's early days in the season. If we go there and beat them, then I'll get my chest out.
If you go there and lose, do you still think you'll get top 4?
Yeah, I think we'll get top 4. I think we're good enough to get top 4.
Your energy's changed from the morning to now, bro. Like, what's happened in between your Saeed show?
No. The energy's changed because Dan Potts introduced this segment as a negative.
Yeah, but you started Saeed's show with shades.
Because the Saeed show was about the Manchester derby. Dan Potts introduced a segment of "Will I get beat on Sunday?" So
but you're an intelligent man, LB. I've worked with you long enough to know that you can spin a narrative to suit what you want to say.
Man. Yeah, but it was unexpected. I didn't expect that, man. I was like taking aback.
Spin a negative into a positive, LB. You're a City fan. Come on, you're 4-peat and all that. Do you know what I'm saying?
But I didn't expect it, man. You took me off guard.
Does it make a difference?
You expect the red carpet, man.
I thought you was going to give me a 5-minute segment where I could cook United, and then next thing it's like, are you going to get beat off Arsenal on Sunday?
I mean, look, we can cook United, but there's no United fan. But we can cook United every opportunity because it's funny, to be fair. And I thought they were absolutely dusty as dusty can be. Sorry, Rich, go on, mate.
I was just going to say, does it make a difference that Arsenal have got 2 days extra rest before you go?
Bro, I don't like making excuses, man, in football. Bro, I don't like making excuses. Like, yeah, we have been shagged, but it is what it is. I don't like making excuses. I don't like blaming referees. Yeah, and I don't like blaming his fixture schedules. Yeah, we all get like fucked on schedules. Yeah, every one of us here has been fucked on it before. City have now, but who cares, man? I ain't making excuses. So nah, I don't care.
I'll say this. I'll put a little bit of chest out. I think we beat them. I mean, we beat them last year. We beat them last year, and I thought they were like, I've seen a very unsettled Man City for a while. I think LB will even admit that. But we beat them. We beat them the year before that when I thought they were really good. Well, they actually won the league that year. So why can't we beat them at home? Why can't I have chest to go and beat Manchester City?
We got to win the league. Yeah, I mean, you are favourites for the game. It's facts.
Yeah, I think so.
And I've seen this from Potts before.
I know.
For a while.
Look, I don't think we're going to win.
He says this, Pete, until Arteta starts 3 CDMs on.
Yeah, he gets one win against the transitional Forest, and suddenly he's turning into Cal. This is crazy, right?
Nah, look, I'll keep it real. I don't think we're winning the league, but I think we'll beat Man City in this game. And one game at a time. We'll go to Newcastle the week after that, and we'll talk them. But I think for me right now, I'm fancy us. I still think City are vulnerable defensively. I've got to be honest. I do. I think we can get at you defensively. So
I think if you don't beat City this weekend, though, it's a disgrace. Because they have shown how vulnerable they are.
Hang on a minute, they're not that bad. What's the point doing here?
This is the thing. Look, I'm throw some positivity.
Edgy's such a troll, man.
From what I saw on Sunday, Haaland looks like he's back. Like he looks back.
Yeah,
he looked really.
He looked back against Wolves, to be fair, in the first game of the season.
But that's the thing. Like he hasn't looked that dominant and that strong. Yes, people can argue against the teams that he's played against, but I'm looking at the player. I'm looking at his body language. I'm looking at his movement. I'm looking at his strength. Like he looks like he's back to that player, and that is a massive positive to City having him back. LB talked about Foden. For me, I'm still sitting back and watching Foden. I need to see it consistently. The consistency is the key to Foden. The abilities. Undoubted, like he is a top level player, but we don't see it often enough and consistent games. For me, Foden needs to be starting regular. He needs a run of 8-9 games in that City team, playing game in, game out, and producing. That's what he needs to get properly back up to speed. You look at that defense. Yeah, the defense isn't great, but you've got a monster in goal now. You've got a monster in goal that can actually keep them out. Like you say about distribution, I hear you, LB, and actually, you know, I wouldn't be surprised if that's part of Pep's big change in terms of going long. So it takes the pressure off Donnarumma having to play short passes inside and being able to receive that ball under high pressure, because when he has that, he struggles. He just isn't that distribution guy.
To be fair though, Pete, the last time we played Donnarumma was the man of the match against PSG home and away. To be fair, when we played him, he was unbelievable. Like
and he can be dominant, so he can come out and catch, he can come out and collect, he can make big saves. But if you're just asking him to put the ball down and smash it 60 yards up the pitch into an area that City want to be in, he's probably not going to put a foot wrong in the game. But if you ask
you've got Doku as well, haven't you, Pete? You've got Doku with his pace as well. I mean, he looked sharp the other day.
Absolutely. So yes, the defense might not be quite there yet, but you've got a better shot stopper in goal now than Edison, and I think that's going to win you more points than it will lose your points. So there's positivity there. There should be positivity there for City, because I saw a lot of positivity in that game. You should have won that game 6-0. Like you should.
Yeah, they were that bad. They were really that bad, Man United. But City were also pretty good. Let's lastly, Errol, what are you saying as a rival? Obviously, you've seen Arsenal and City a lot. I guess you look at both these teams as being the two that you imagine will be close to you. So, what are you saying for this game, bruv?
I'm saying it all depends on the way that Arsenal set up for the game. To be honest,
You said Arsene Wenger, then, didn't you?
I nearly did. But it all depends on how Arteta sets up, because I think, LB made the point before, you'll flap it as soon as you see that there's 3 DMs in the middle of the park there. And I just think that'll be the difference. Do you back yourselves at home? And for me, it's the question then to Arteta, what is it about that home field advantage that gives you the confidence to go at teams like City, Liverpool, Newcastle, that you don't feel the same level of confidence that you can go and do the same on the road? Do I think he's win? I'd love to see a draw, as obviously an invested rival, but at the same time, I think the momentum is currently with Arsenal. I think there's a very strong belief in there. I think from the back of the game the other day, I thought Tchouaméni was excellent. To be fair to him, I thought Madueke is looking really promising. I think he's probably started the season as one of your better players. And again, I'm not sure if Odegaard's going to be out injured for the period of time, but obviously
he's out now.
Now really coming in was a good deputy in that respect. So I think it'll be interesting. I think it'll be a close game. I'd happily settle for the draw right now, but if I had to put money on it, I'd say Arsenal probably edge it if they go out and attack and go to get the win. If they go to play for the win, I think Arsenal will have too much for City on this occasion, which feels convenient to say.
Listen, I hope that you're right. We do have enough, man. That's what I'll say, because I think we need to. Big up to Don for the raid, absolute ledge, much appreciated, bro. Really appreciate that one. Might as well stick with you quickly, Errol, and get some opinions on the panel. Did you get lucky, or was it inevitable that you took 3 points? Real talk.
Do you know what? For the sake of the conversation, I'll entertain it. But the truthful version of me, I'm not asked whether you call it luck or what. Like, I don't care. We got the 3 points and we move. But I think I mentioned this to an Arsenal fan yesterday. Had that not have been a handball, the chances of Liverpool scoring were slim to none. I think we would have probably been playing that game all up until 9:15 on the 15th of the 9th, and we'd have still been 0-0. Which I think is poor on Burnley's part as well, because not to say that there was loads of opportunities, but to be that spineless in defence and just all you want to do is defend and not even try and lay a finger on Liverpool or try and pose any real attack. You're in the Premier League. That is a very, very poor show, and it's a poor advertisement for the standard of the league.
Nah, I can't hear that. They're entitled to play how they want, bro.
I'm not saying that, but I just think it's a poor advertisement for the league.
Well, it's not about poor advertising. They're not in it to advertise the Premier League. They're in it to try and get points. And if they think they're going to take you on and play attacking football, they would have got rinsed.
I'm not saying that they had to take us on to play attacking football. I didn't say that. I was just saying the fact that all they wanted to do was defend for their lives for 90 minutes. And they were
very almost
is
successful.
A poor advertisement. Nearly, yeah, wasn't close enough.
I agree. But you deserve to win the game because you won the game. But I don't think you can be saying like it's a poor advertisement or whatever. They're
Well,
in it for
I think it
themselves.
is. I think it is.
Well, we're not in it. We're not in it. The teams are not in it to raise the Premier League's appeal. They're in it to get maximum points. So they were a minute away from getting a point against the title holders.
And
I heard this.
How did that end up for them?
No, and I agree.
Errol,
But you can't say it's a bad tactic. They were a minute away from getting a point against the title holders. So it clearly was a good tactic.
This is what I don't get. Like Errol's my guy, but this is what I don't get with the Liverpool fans. And I saw it online. Oh my God, what a disgrace to come up against us and have 3 shots and defend and put everyone behind the ball. Did you really think Burnley were going to go, let's come and have a go at this? We lost 5-0. like I expected them to do that. Do you know what I mean? Like I expected that. And it's
I think the point that I'm trying to make on my end is the fact that from their perspective, they don't deserve to take anything away from that game if that is how they're going to approach the game from the outset. You can't.
They
What do you mean,
do,
why?
though. Errol, you're
Why?
being-
It's a horrible take, Errol. It's a horrible take.
And that's fine. At the end of the day, you
Errol,
got a shitload of horrible takes. So what are we doing here? Do you know what I mean?
Errol,
At the end of the day, the reality is you played in the best league in the country, and you come out to set up to not get beat. And if that is your mentality, you don't want to get beat. You can't be surprised when you then get beat. At the end of the day, if you lose and someone scores against you, you didn't do nothing to try and win the game.
Errol,
You didn't do anything to try and
I
stop
think-
it other than to get and put men behind the ball. That's fine. I don't particularly care for that style of football. If Burnley think they can play 38 games like that and try to stay up, good luck to them.
They won't.
Errol, I think
they're playing against the Premier League champions. Of course, in their mind, they're not going to come out and be expansive because one, they haven't got the quality to be able to play.
Errol,
I'm saying at no point did I say I expect
It
Burnley
nearly
to.
worked. It nearly worked to set up for that particular game, and that's it. Like
Errol,
they played like that in other games. In actual fact, in other games, they have been a little bit more expansive in there.
How many goals did Burnley
That's
concede
okay.
last season, Pete? How many goals did Burnley concede last season?
50.
They went like 15 games
14 or
without
something,
conceding any.
So as a team that can set up and still score, they have shown that they have got a good defensive record and they've got a good defensive unit to be
Yeah,
able
but
to
they
in the
lost the
championship.
goalkeeper that created that. They lost
No,
the
but-
goalkeeper that creates that, and it's in the championship.
I know it is. I know it is.
Question
But
the
again,
championship,
he
it's
was
not the same
unlucky.
level.
He was
They
unlucky.
can't play the same way.
I agree with
I'm not saying that.
Errol,
I'm not
just-
saying that they should play the same way. But what I'm saying to you guys is that if they intend to play game after game like that in the Premier League, you can't turn around to me at the end of the game and go, "Oh, well, do you know what? Actually, they deserve to get something out of that game." Because all honesty, they didn't. The only team that was looking to try and win was Liverpool. Liverpool's toothlessness meant that we made more hard work of it than it is. But you can't tell me, right, if there was 2 boxers in a ring and they're both throwing, all right, one's just covering up for God knows how many rounds and the other one's just laying into him. And at the end of the match, they go, "Oh, well, do you know what? He's really unlucky that the ref didn't call it."
Do you know why that's different, Errol?
Well, the rope-a-dope was one of the greatest
Like
boxing
this.
tactics ever.
Like Liverpool and Burnley are like this, bro. It's not 2
And-
boxes like this.
And props. That's my point. Is that you only have to look back 2 years ago. In that type of game, Vincent Kompany was setting up Burnley
Exactly.
to be expansive, and they were getting
Yes.
absolutely battered every game. They were absolutely shocking, right, for doing and playing that style. So I actually commend, like, I actually say, you know what, fairs to Scott Parker, because he has been expansive in some games when he knows he can be against certain teams, but in other games he's going and sitting back. He could have quite actually been expansive and gone, you know what, we're not going to win this game anyway, let's just go for it, and got battered 5-0. But actually, he was like a minute away, like LB said, from actually getting a point. Yes, they didn't get it, but from their perspective, they've not got 3 minus 4, 5, 6 on their goal difference. That could be the difference at the back end of the season. So I get what you're saying, is that you don't want to come up against a team like that. You see it as anti-football, but you've got to understand it from the perspective of a team that's just come up from the championship. You know how hard it's been over the last years for newly promoted teams to stay in the Premier League. They are desperate to stay in the Premier League, so they're going to play a different way. And this is maybe it's just me and Rich and Wolfie, because we've been down there, we've been in the championship, we've had to come up, so we know how we have to play sometimes. Maybe it's because you've never experienced it, but
Yeah.
I understand why Scott Parker played the way he did. It might not be nice to watch, and it weren't a great game, but I understand it. So, but I also understand why you wouldn't understand it, because you've had the privilege of always being up there. So you wouldn't.
No, it's not even about having
I
the
think
privilege
he's
of
being
always
too.
being up there.
I think
I just think as a team that has showed as a unit they can defend. How can you really test yourselves in the league, even if you want to use it as a barometer to know where you're currently at? And you might say, "Oh, they know going into that game that they're nowhere near the champions," and that's absolutely fine. But to not be able to say, right, for 20-minute period, we are going to play our football and we're going to try and be progressive through the pitch and we're going to try and cause Liverpool, whether that be set pieces, whether that be creating chances, whether that be long, whatever it is, tactically to be offensive. They chose to do none of that. They chose to leave all of the football and drills to the wayside and say, all we're going to do is shut up shop for 90 minutes and pray and inshallah.
Errol, do you think they'll play like that against Leeds?
I just say something real quick as well. Because I've been told over the previous seasons that they call that tactics. And Errol, I'm not going to lie, bro. I love your takes, generally speaking. But since we're in the business of doing terrible takes, I might as well join you. You spent more money on signings this summer than it costs the whole Burnley stadium. Hold that. So Pete and colleagues are genuinely correct. It's like, you're dealing with the very rich in society and you're dealing with poor, and they are dealing with their resources and they almost got a draw. The real thing here is that Errol is, someone who is legally trained and an eloquent speaker. The truth is, Liverpool's been pants this season. I know you've got 12 points, but I know you're worried. You were not good against Bournemouth. Really and truly, if football was a fair game, Liverpool has 4 points this season.
We're the Bournemouth in the league, Edge. We're the Bournemouth in the league. We're the Bournemouth in the league. We're the Bournemouth, our kid.
I know. Well,
Then tell me, you answer the question. We're the Bournemouth in the league.
Too high is the answer.
All right, so they're fourth, and they've got 3 wins out of 4. The only team that they've lost to this season has been us.
Yeah, but that game, the football was fair. That's a draw. The Newcastle game.
Why is it fair? Since when?
You were getting moved to by Bournemouth. Let's be real. In your own yard, Semenyo was cooking you, man.
He was.
You scored in the last couple of minutes. Then Newcastle game, you scored in the last second of the game. That should have been a draw. Then you scored. You did nothing in the game against Arsenal. You scored this bloody free kick out of nowhere. Did nothing. Didn't deserve that. That should have been a draw. And then this weekend against Burnley, did nothing. And then you score in the 95th minute. Liverpool's been rubbish. That is the truth, bro.
You know what? If we was just coming in on this tip, I would wholeheartedly agree with you. If you was just coming in on this tip, I would wholeheartedly. But you're telling me that we was lucky when we was the only team trying to win a game of footy. That's not luck,
bruv.
There's no luck about that. And I already accept
all the resources
you
have. You shouldn't be struggling with Burnley. That's the point. With all the resources you have, you shouldn't be struggling.
But again, I think most teams would struggle if every team just decided.
Tottenham beat Burnley 3-0. It was light work.
But did Burnley set up the exact same way?
Yes.
Did they? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
I'm just saying.
How many points did you get for that? By the way, how many points did you get for that? By the way. There we go then.
Is this sustainable though, Errol? Do you actually feel like it's chill? Like, don't worry, because I wouldn't give a damn. I'd be top of the league, like whatever. We haven't played well yet. We've got 12 points. However, do you feel like if you carry on like this, that you can just keep getting over the line, or do you think it's calm? Or because I look at Salah.
I've already said it. I've already tweeted, bro. We in the first 2 games of the season, I said we've already used 2 get out of jail free cards, Bournemouth and Newcastle. You don't get that many. What do you want to know? What's that got? No, because of this. Like I was saying, I had already accepted that we'd already used 2 get out of jail free cards after the first 2 games of the season. I've already said that to me is not sustainable level of football. You have to start performing. Do I think that the performances will come? I hope so. But at this moment in time, it's taken us a little bit longer to get up to full speed. But at the end of the day, whilst we're still getting points on the board, I think it is very fair that we reflect on the performances and say that they've been underwhelming and they've been subpar. And like I said from the get-go, had we have still been playing till fucking 9 o'clock tonight, we still probably wouldn't have scored from open play. But equally, I can sit there and say, I'm happy that we've got 12 points in the bag, because those 12 points have got us sitting at the top of the table, and it's got other people sweating, thinking, how are Liverpool playing this bad but still getting over the line? You can look at mentality, and you can look at the fact that we've got a team of winners that know how to win. And at the end of the day, irrespective of whether you think we've been good or not, in all of those games, I'd say barring the Newcastle game, because I think the Newcastle game was the one where they really stuck it on us differently, I'd say that we have been the only team that have tried to win over the course of 90. I think Bournemouth had spells, but we consistently wanted to try and get the 3 points at home, first game of the season. I think the Newcastle game, like I've just said, was probably the one where they stuck it on us the most and they caught us a little bit cold. But the mentality and the winners in the team got us over the line. I think the Arsenal game, again, not to slag off Arsenal, but I don't think that was their best offensive display to try and go and get 3 points at Anfield. I thought he was a little bit conservative and wanted to make sure they didn't get beat. So therefore, Liverpool were the team trying to win. And again, the same can be said again for yesterday. Burnley did not do anything to try to win, and if that's their tactic, fair enough, they're entitled to it, but Liverpool tried to. So at the same time, if we try to win the rest of these 34 games of the league, we're going to win more than we're going to lose, but the performances have also got to follow, and I think that's fair to say. I don't see what I've just said there that's outlandish by any stretch.
Is it okay for rival fans to start asking questions about Wirtz? Because people are asking about your.
You can do what you want. It's not your player. Why are you pocket watching me, bro, guys? Sit down.
I just
you
want to know
about the bottom half of the table, bro.
I just want to know when it's okay to start
pocket watching what
Wirtz.
I've got. It's like saying, "Oh, I've got a little Casio, but I'm going to watch the next man's Rolex to still see if it tells the time." Fuck off. Watch your own
talk to me
watch.
about that Rolex. Talk to me about that Rolex, bro. Let me know how that Rolex has been. Has the time been accurate on it?
Don't watch the Rolex. You couldn't finance the Rolex.
Why are you so upset about your Rolex, bro?
I'm not upset about it. I'm just saying. It's like telling me, I've got this plastic watch, but I'm going to check for your watch over there. So don't bother.
I've actually got an Omega on. But anyway, the whole point here is, when can we talk about...
Hey. 004, isn't it? Is it going to get 007 there?
When is it okay? When is it publicly acceptable for us to discuss 004?
He's on His Majesty's Secret Service right now, do you get me? Like, he's working undercover. He's on a little mission. And right now, he's on a side mission. But eventually, when he turns up, it's one of them. What do you want to do? Do you want to, crash out right now and go all in on him and then look stupid come the end of the season? Or do you want to allow him time to really give a fair evaluation? Depends what you want to do. Because me, again, I've already tweeted it out there. I have not been impressed so far. But does that mean I'm going to write him off? And does that mean I'm going to slander him? No, I'm going to give the brother time to come and do what he's doing.
When you pay that sort of money, does he deserve to have that time? That's the question.
I think any 22-year-old, any 22-year-old moving to a new country, moving to a new league, moving to a new city deserves time. Regardless of the price tag, regardless of the price tag slapped on his head. I know you're talking to me about, but he can't do anything about the price tag. So as a young 22-year-old moving to a new country, into a new league, I think he does get warranted time, because we've given time for a lot of other people before him. Let's just be fair about it. And I know we've not given time for a lot of other people as well, but all I'm saying is,
how can you put Anthony in this league? How? What are you doing here?
It's past his bedtime. Go to bed, Dad.
Wait till Isak starts playing and Pete's watching him as well. Wait till Isak starts playing and Pete's watching him like a horse.
He's waiting. I'm saying as a neutral though. Are you guys not seeing it as a neutral? Gyökeres is getting heat, scoring 3 goals. I've heard this whole genes thing this week. I don't really get what they're going on with that, but he's getting heat and he's actually bagging. 004 is 004. Like, if it's okay for one, why is it not okay for the other? That's the thing I don't get.
I
Just
agree.
as an objective outsider looking at it.
All right. So do you want to honest answer that? Because I feel as though, and again, I can only speak for myself in this. Looking from the outside, looking into the Arsenal wider fan base, Arsenal have painted this guy as the missing piece to be that guy, to be the linchpin to help them get over the line. So therefore, they've applied a level of pressure on him. I don't think there was many Liverpool fans that expected Wirtz to be able to come in to this Liverpool team or for us to. We didn't.
What?
Did you not
Nah,
see
that's
how
BS.
many clips
That's
on
that's
every
cap,
single
bro.
Liverpool channel?
Are you gonna
LB,
let
I've
me
learned
finish?
it from memory. I've seen it so many times. LB, how many times have you clipped up over Wirtz?
Bro, I clipped up a lot, man. I can't lie, bro. That's
Okay,
not that's BS, Errol.
Liverpool fans at the start of the transfer window expected to go and sign Florian Wirtz. Liverpool fans were screaming out, "That's what's needed for us in this summer. We need to go and buy a player of that level to come into this squad." That was the tip from Liverpool fans. Liverpool fans were telling you this all summer, lads, that Liverpool we're going to go and buy a Florian Wirtz.
No, but the point is, Errol, that he's a hell of a lot of money. I think he's
I'm
going
not
to
saying
bag,
he's
by the way,
not.
for what it's worth.
You
You can't say there's more pressure on Gyökeres, but
No,
Wirtz
I'm
just
not.
needs a few games to get away.
I'm not. You
It-
aren't listening to what I'm saying. What I'm saying to you is that the Arsenal fans had already lined up Gyökeres prior to Gyökeres going to the club. That was the guy they wanted this summer for the reason being he was the missing piece in their squad to go and
But he
push them
scored 3
over.
and 4, Errol. He scored 3 and 4.
Good for him.
He's
You're gonna
getting
let me
more
finish
heat
what
than
I'm saying.
004 is, man.
All right, Sam, but are you going to let me finish what I'm saying? My point is that Liverpool fans, and me especially, I felt from the get-go, Wirtz is a luxury player. I didn't see him being part of our transfers this summer. The fact that we was able to get him is great, but we've now got to make it work. It wasn't like we've been planning for this for months and we was waiting for him to come in and he was going to then kick us on.
So you thought he'd take 10 games?
Pardon?
You thought he'd need 10 games or
At least,
so?
I don't watch the Bundesliga in and out, boys. So yeah, I've heard good things about him. I've seen him in the Champions League. I've seen him with my own eyes against Liverpool. I didn't think he was fantastic that day. We slapped them 4-0. The fact of the matter is, I didn't put any expectations on this guy to whether you put 116 mil out for him or not to come in and be the linchpin for us. I didn't necessarily think that's what we was buying. Whereas Arsenal did think that's what they was buying with Gyökeres. So I think the pressure comes from you have set the expectation that he's your missing piece. No one in the Liverpool fan base that I'm aware of has said, "Oh, yeah, he's our missing piece. He's going to be the one that takes us to the next level."
Just don't let Zubimendi score more goals than him, man.
Isak that was going 004. If it was Isak that was going 004, I'd agree with you. I'd wholeheartedly agree with you.
To be fair, you can have that opinion as a fan. You can have that opinion as a fan as you didn't think that he was going to be that guy. But I'm sorry, Liverpool Football Club thought he was going to be that guy, and that's why they paid the money. So you can't say you can say that from your perspective, and that's absolutely fine. But Liverpool Football Club put that money on the table and went over what Man City were willing to offer because they wanted him, because they thought he was going to be the guy.
Okay,
he has got to be the guy. And that's why I asked the question: is he being judged now or not? Because
in response to that,
I get the age perspective, but actually, when you're paying that sort of money and Liverpool are signing him to be the guy, he really should be the guy straight away.
And I'll be honest, my response to that is, yeah, Liverpool thought he would be the guy, but Liverpool did not think that, look, if you're going to come in and be the guy from day one, then we're paying 116 mil. It was never a case of that short-sightedness. And I think that is the reaction that the wider football community is having, is being of short-sightedness. If people were saying, right, we expect, because again, you can look at Gravenberch. Gravenberch came in for buttons. We didn't see enough of him for the first season. Second season under Slot, he's looked really good. Liverpool are doing these assessments of players because they see the full length of the contract. Will you be worth the value of your contract over the course of the next 4 or 5 years? If so is going to be yes, then we will then sanction the money to go and make that bid for you. But it's not about we are going to buy somebody right now because in the first 4 games of the season, they're going to be the player of the month. That's not what we're in it for. So I don't think it's fair to turn around and say, all right, well, after the first 4 games, we're going to call him 004 and we're going to say that it was a bad investment, because that's just disingenuous.
What I will say in response to that, because I've been quite firm on Wirtz, I do think you will get that with Isak. He will do the job, because
And that's what I said. If this was Isak, I said already, if this was Isak in that same boat, I'd have agreed.
It pains me to say that, by the way. Pains me to say that.
I think
I've got a dislike to your club right now, and I think it will be that way for the next 6 years. But he is the guy because he was the guy for us, and we've seen him week in, week out how good he is. So
I think they both will.
I will be fair on that respect. He will be the guy.
I respect it.
I hope he's not.
The only issue you've got, Harold, just going back to watches. I wasn't joking. This is the Omega. If you can see it, it's the special edition, and you're gonna love this. And I'm not even lying. It's the special edition 007 Omega watch. Don't you dare make me flash this out in 3 games.
I'm sorry.
In 3 games time when he goes 007. Don't you dare let him get to 007, or this will be replacing me on the panel. I'm just saying.
Don't let. All I say
Probably speaks more sense.
Don't let Zubimendi score more goals than Florian Wirtz, bro. Don't let that happen. Let's move to this one, man. Let's bring Rich and Deji in because this is an interesting, seriously, genuinely interesting question. Aston Villa, are they going to finish above Spurs this season? In fact, what is happening at Aston Villa? Because I have zero understanding how across 7 leagues you're the only team not to score a goal yet. That is embarrassing, Rich.
I don't know what to say. You boys have all been saying about the league table. I haven't looked at the league table once since the season started. I can't bring myself to look at it right now. I am worried about this season at this moment in time. I'm very, very, very worried. Nothing. I mean, I've said this on multiple shows. I've said this on my channel. Looking at what we were meant to be improving, in my opinion, from last season, nothing has been improved. Looking at the signings that we've made, a couple of them are decent players, but they don't improve any of the areas that we look like we needed to improve. We don't look like scoring a goal. I think we've had 10 shots in 4 games. We've got Villa fans now celebrating the fact, with all due respect, we've drawn 0-0 against Everton, and it was one of the worst games I've ever been to in my life. I can't see, personally, where it's going to turn around. We've had 2 points from 4 games against Newcastle without a striker, Crystal Palace, Everton, who was the other one, and we lost to Brentford. I mean, what else is going to happen when we come up against the likes of Liverpool, Arsenal, City, Spurs? I mean, Forest will beat them, but honestly, I'm worried right at the minute. I'm really worried because Unai Emery said he needs time to get the players to fit together and to get us playing more attacking football. But he had pre-season to do this. Why are you doing this now after an international break after 4 games of the season? Yeah, man, I'm worried at the minute. So
I think it was very obvious, wasn't it, that Villa were going to struggle this year. At the end of the day, your season's dictated by transfers like 99% of the time. And Villa have had a terrible transfer window. Terrible. Like, no one can tell me it's not terrible. So it was, they didn't even get top 4 last year. So how people was going to expect them to, go up and get top 4 this year after a terrible transfer window? It's never going to happen. So I think best case scenario for Villa is maybe finishing Europa League again and maybe going for a domestic cup.
Morgan Rogers, though, he can't even pass a ball to an Aston Villa player right now. I mean, I don't know what is going on with him. Wow. So, fair enough. We've obviously sold Ramsey to Newcastle. We knew he was going to get injured every week, so that's fine. We've got 45 million for that. We've kept Martinez. We've kept Watkins. I understand we've had a bad transfer in there, but you look at the players that we still have, there's no excuse for not playing well. You can't use PSR as an excuse to not pass the ball 10 yards. That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
You can't use PSR as an excuse to not run around. Yeah. Come on.
Rich, look, I'm finding it extremely difficult this evening. And I hope you're not offended by what I'm about to say. Part of me feels and wishes it was Billy sitting in that seat right now and not yourself. Because you're probably one of the nicest blokes on YouTube. But But your team is one of the worst teams I've ever seen in my life. I knew a team in carrot and blue was going down. I had it as West Ham, but bloody hell, you are worse than West Ham, mate. You are crap. And all this stuff about Ollie Watkins. You see, what happened was, and I think, Rich, you tried not to go there, but you went there. Villa fans got ahead of themselves last year, didn't you? Last year was your greatest year in history. You had a Champions League run, shaking your bum. You did all right in the league. We know that Unai Emery cannot multitask. His job is to bring you a European title. He can't survive in the league. To be in the Prem and you've not scored a goal, you are 19th and you're talking about you could get Europe. Bruv, you'd be lucky to get 15th, bro, at this rate. You don't win on the weekend, we are genuinely talking about a relegation fight for Villa, because this is Game of Thrones. You know, the Targaryens are all here fighting for the throne, and you guys don't know where your dragons are, bruv. This is what it is. You don't know where your dragons are, bro. So for me, Villa, Rich, you're a lovely bloke. I think Billy's let you down, to be honest, pumping his chest, shaking his bum. I don't know why. And you know, there was a lot of things that didn't make sense. Why did you get rid of Leon Bailey? Why did you get rid of you kind of poo-pooed Ramsey's a baller, man. You know, you don't have the Asensio, you don't have Rashford. Do you know what I'm saying? And then you're bringing in Lindelof. What the hell are you doing? Harvey Elliott is not even getting a sniff. What's going on? You brought in Harvey Elliott and you're not even starting him. So it's a hot mess. Unai doesn't know what he's got. And that's why Martinez wanted to leave. Do you know, right now, you guys are truly Marco Bizot. That's really what it is. Marco Bizot. Rubbish. That's what it is. Rubbish. So yeah, no, Rich, I feel for you, mate. Look, I hope that you guys.
Yeah, it's gonna be me. It's gonna be me in your seat, Deji. This season, it's gonna be me going crazy, crashing out every week. You can relax this season.
Yeah, I've got your email, so I'm gonna send you a list of instrumental beats that you can use on YouTube and not get flagged for demonetization. And also, in terms of some lyrics, I've got some lyrics for you. One of them being Stan. You know, Stan the letter. Because I think you're going to need to get rid of this brother. That's the truth, bro. I can't see you guys surviving this season. This is rubbish. And that's the problem with you, isn't it? If he doesn't do it, then he falls off a cliff. And I think he's already fallen off.
Spurs, though. Spurs going to finish easily above Villa then. Yeah, Dej?
See, Dan, I'm not going to lie. I was in a good mood until you asked that question. I was in a really good mood. Like for me, call me classist, and it's an issue for me, and I need work. Okay, when I'm dealing with minnows, I can't, I can't conversate with them. Last season, the reason why I was engaged in the conversation is because quite literally I was looking up. Do you get what I'm saying? That's why I spoke to everyone. But now that I'm back where I'm supposed to be, bruv, there's a certain chest, there's a certain level. Don't talk to me about Villa. You should be talking to me about Chelsea. Yeah. Will Spurs finish above Chelsea? That's the question.
Okay, let me ask it differently then, Deji. How many teams are finishing above? Who are the teams that are going to finish above Tottenham? That's a better way of putting it.
At the moment, there's only 2 teams.
What? Who are those 2? Liverpool and Arsenal.
Let me be real. If LB is correct and he's expecting Arsenal to beat City, then they're done out here. Do you know what I mean? They're done. I don't have to worry about them. I'm looking at you and Liverpool.
Hold on, what about I just come back to?
Tottenham are finishing 3rd, bro.
In the league?
Yeah, the league, yeah. In the league.
The Premier League.
The Premier League.
And I assume I know who's spinning that bullshit. Hold on, Deji. Wait. I thought you were winning the league.
No, I'm not saying that.
So you downgraded 3 positions. You're downgrading a position a week. Come week 20, you're going to predict bottom. What's going on here?
I'll be real. Don't try and back me into a corner that I've not asked for. All I'm saying is, based on current form, there's only two teams that I'm seeing better than my club, and that's Liverpool and Arsenal at the moment. I can say that.
Do you ever learn?
Bro, I'm just saying things could obviously change.
No, serious question. Do you ever learn?
Who had the? Could you rate the transfer windows of each club?
Forget the transfer windows. Answer the question. Do you ever learn?
LB said something just a minute ago.
Forget what LB said. What you said.
Tell a club's season based on the business they did in the transfer window. Tottenham did good business, bro.
Yeah, and you got rejected left, right, and centre. You were no offense, Pete. You were the Newcastle of the South. Let's be real here, okay?
I'll be real with you.
I said no offense, Pete. I said no. That was Kundi that said it, by the way. I was just paraphrasing.
Even the people in the chat.
Sorry, Pete. I apologize.
Pete catching strays.
People in the chat see Spurs finishing at least 5th. That's Champions League football.
But Deji, do you ever learn?
Why stop there? Why stop there? For me, I think Chelsea is there for the taking. And then, at the moment, I would love to say that I've got a really keen eye. I've got my goggles. I am watching Liverpool very, very closely. I'm not going to lie to you. I've had slot on fraud a lot. Errol knows that. But so far, so good. And I'm not 100% convinced.
13 months deep. How's that going for you?
But, don't worry. Don't worry. Do you know what I'm saying? What was going on, right, bro? I'm third.
Deji, how do you think the squad will cope with the Champions League coming in now? Running on both.
Yeah, no,
they're winning that as well, Rich.
Rich, I think,
of course, yeah.
Rich, first and foremost, thank you for bringing it back to football and not just hot air. In terms of how we balance the squad, we're doing it already, bro. Against Burnley, we were able to play our kids in Archie Gray and Bergvall, and we got the win, clapped them up 3-0. Something Errol was struggling with his full team, by the way. But anyway, I digress. And then also in relation to the game on the weekend, we were able to, again, mix it up. Rest the players that needed to rest. Richarlison didn't even need to really come on. He did a little mini cameo. And we made light work of West Ham. So we're doing rotation in the location, and it's working a treat. And we currently see ourselves joint second with Arsenal. And we've rested players where they... Would you say Arsenal rested players on the weekend?
The problem is, Dej, you run the same track every single season. This time last year, you were talking about doing the treble. Pete, you'll back me up. It was on your channel. He was sitting there talking about Spurs.
No, I said,
did he or did he not?
Win a treble. I thought he would need to win a treble to keep his job.
No, you said you were going to win a treble, and then when you started
wasting your time with the Carabao.
Yes.
We did, because we won the Europa League.
It wasn't a treble. It wasn't a treble. The year before, when Spurs were top after I'm loving Big Ange instead and everything, you were claiming you're winning the league and stuff after August. You don't learn from your mistakes. You're doing the same mistakes. You're repeating history, man, over and over again. I'm warning you as your friend, Deji, to shut up.
I'm just saying to you, as it stands at the moment, so far, so good. But why stop at 5th?
Where do you think they'll finish, Errol? Spurs?
I don't know. I think they're on for Champions League footy. Like, as I say, they've probably been one of the more convincing sides. But again, as to Wolfie's point there, 2 seasons ago, they hadn't lost till, what was it, back end of October, nearly
10 games.
November, 10 games. They had a really strong start to the season. So we've all seen it before with Spurs. They can start strong and then the wheels can just completely fall off. I'd say at the moment on current form, I'd say they should probably be looking to get Champions League football. And I think that's fair. I think that should be the expectation. I think more so than winning a league or a cup for them this season, making sure that they make an improvement on the actual league is pivotal for them.
Would you say that's an improvement on last season from your perspective and outside of looking?
No.
I'd say, well, again, it all depends. If you go on a decent Champions League run and get yourselves to a quarters or a semis and you finish 4th or 5th, then you'd look at it and say, yeah, you have stabilised and you're moving in the right direction as a club. Fair play, give credit where credit's due. I don't expect Spurs to become a team overnight, over one summer, to go and become serial winners. I just don't think that's the makeup of this team. So the next best progression would be to improve the league position and to do well in a cup competition. I don't think that's
Spurs have got if we're being real, to get better than last season, Spurs have got to win a trophy and get into the Champions League.
Correct.
That's what
Thank
Spurs
you,
have
Pots.
got to do. Let's be real, because
Thank
if
you.
I said to you, do you want a house?
we know that's not going to happen, no, Potts. We know that's not going to happen. So why are we even doing that? They're not a team that are going to go out there and become serial
Well,
winners.
Dej might think it will.
And
Dej
Dej can think that all he wants, yo, bro. Just know, Spurs have not got that in their locker, and history tells us that as well.
Dej, would you say fifth is a successful season?
Look, I think fifth in Thomas Frank's first season at Spurs would be a good season. Yes.
Really?
For me personally, would I be shaking my bum for fifth and a Carabao Cup? I don't know.
Are you not a man who once told us that there's only two trophies that are worthwhile?
Exactly.
So
you know me, but I also know your low standards. So yeah. So for me, I'm trying
we're talking about my standards. I agree with you, bro. I've got two of them right there. So I hear you. Where are yours?
Look, I genuinely think Spurs under Thomas Frank, he's implemented common sense football. Common sense is prevailing. Look, people are not talking about the fact that we've played 4 games and conceded 1 goal. Look, that is the same back four that conceded crazy amount of goals last season. It's the same. No one's changed. Same back 5. And now look, the other thing that I think is scary for you, Wolfie, that you don't want to talk about, with the common sense prevailing, and we're not doing high line for life, which you're going to be implementing moving forward.
Deflection,
it means that injury-wise, if we can keep Romero, Van der Ven fitter for longer, at present, I think Van der Ven tends to croak around about the 10th, get league game of the season, the same for Romero. If we can get these brothers to 15, 16, 17 games without an injury, then Errol is right. You're looking at Spurs almost pretty much guaranteeing Champions League football. And then for me, the game is on, because for me, I'm looking at a Chelsea team that doesn't really have a gunman up top. We know Sanchez has started the season well, but we know that Sanchez has a bozo moment in him and could go through a run of games full of bozo blunders. And then all of a sudden, all those people that were shaking their bum for Chelsea ain't going to shake it so widely. So for me, Chelsea is there for the taking. Newcastle, Valdemeda scored on the weekend. They should be up there. And it all depends. It all depends how that. You know what I'm saying? So why?
That's the last question. That's the last question.
Say it again. Say it again. What you just said. Say it again.
Yeah, Valdemeda scored on the weekend. I still think that when he runs in slow motion. But you know,
don't try and do that. Don't try and do that. You're all giggly, you and Wolfie last week taking the mick, right? I just stayed silent. Let it carry on.
Hey, I've seen Andre Salenzi score a goal, bro. And now, scoring a goal don't make you a player.
It's not just about the goal. Like, his performance was a very good performance on his debut.
The only reason you noticed his performance is because he's about 3 stories higher than every other player, bro.
If you're going to use that as a stick to beat me with, then that's just,
it's a big stick.
That's poor from you, Wolfie. That's poor from you, Wolfie. Really.
Just get him to shave that tash off, man, please. I'm thinking you.
He's our Geordie Rudy Voller. That's what he is.
How did you
German Messi?
How did you play, Pete? Real talk. I didn't see any of the game. I saw the goal. That was it.
Yeah, good goal. To be fair, I feel like we were playing in kind of like second gear. Like we could have been 2 or 3-0 up by half time. They started really quick, by the way. They could have scored within like 5 seconds, and it was a world-class save from Nick Pope to keep them out. So we got caught cold there. But once that had happened, like I always felt like we were never going to lose the game. We were in control. We probably could have been 2 or 3-0 at half time. We had a couple of chances in the second half late on. It is what it is. But the most important thing for me going into this game, I said a couple of things needed to happen. 1, we needed to win the game, and 2, Valdemeda to score would just cap it off as being a perfect scenario for us on his debut. And I got both, so I'm absolutely buzzing.
Pete, you're glazing over the performance. It was poor. It was
What do you
poor.
mean it was poor? It wasn't
I don't
poor.
think you play. I actually watched that game. I think Wolves could have been 2-0 up. Forget 1-0 up. They could have been 2-0 up early doors.
I just say that within the first 10 seconds, they had the chance.
Yeah.
After that, they didn't really create a chance. They didn't create anything. Dan Burn literally had Tolo locked down for the whole game. Dan Burn was absolutely superb, by the way. Again, and I don't know what he's eating at the moment, but he is playing fantastic. Sandro Tonali was by far
Tonali was the best player on the pitch by a mile.
He is superb. Like, he was absolutely brilliant. Voltameda, I think he played 60, 65 minutes before he came off. Very good on his debut. Like, we played some good stuff, and like I say, you go back through and you watch that game and you watch the chances that we created. We could have easily won that game 3 or 4-0. We could have. This is the issue. Just my last point. This is the thing with Newcastle, is that we haven't not created chances this season. We've defended solid, we've worked hard in midfield, and we've created chances. We just haven't had a striker there for those first 3 games to put the ball in the net. Well, we did have that guy on Saturday, and he scored a brilliant goal.
I see Murphy's already replaced Alanga, bro. What's happening there?
No. For me, this is part of what I need to see from Eddie Howe, is that you're not going to get the same players playing every week. So Murphy playing today, for me, signals that Alanga will start against Barcelona. Like, that's how.
And I think that's a good move.
Yeah,
exactly. And this is the thing. Eddie Howe has to do this. He has to manage this squad better than what we did 2 years ago. We now have the players to do it, but we now need to manage that better.
Same thing as what I said to Deji. Like, now you've got this Champions League kicking off this week. How are you managing that with the Premier League?
Yeah. So what you might see is a similar team to what played against Wolves, albeit Gordon will be back because he can play in the Champions League, so he will start. Barnes will probably go to the bench. Alanga will come in. Murphy will probably will go to the bench. Voltameda will probably start again. I think the rest of the team will probably stay as it is. But what you'll find then, Bournemouth on Sunday, you'll probably find Lewis Hall will come back in. You'll probably find maybe a Willock starts instead of a Joe Linton. You'll find that Murphy and Barnes will come in instead of the other two. So that's what will start to happen. And
tough game to follow at Barcelona, Bournemouth away.
We haven't won there when we already have. But what I'm saying is, regardless of the game, we have to manage our players, and we have to have fresh players to be ready to play from one game to the next. And this is about this will be Eddie Howe's key to this season: is squad management. Malik Chow, for example, will probably play. He hasn't started yet. He'll play against Bournemouth. And they're not bad players that are coming in, by the way, to come in and play against Bournemouth. They're players that are good enough to win the game. So fingers crossed, no injuries. Obviously, we've got Wissa out for 4 weeks, which is a shame. But
Ramsey out as well.
I'm happy where we're at.
Is Ramsey injured already?
Yeah, he's out for a month.
No way.
What's that?
Ramsey's out for a month.
Yeah, did you see the tackle against Leeds where he got injured?
Oh yeah, Longstaff done him in, didn't he?
Absolutely disgraceful. He definitely left one on him, but yeah, he'll be back just before the international break. So,
well, Pete, I've got you in 5th at the moment. I've done my predictions. Is that over the top? Is that fair? Is that too high, too low?
That's where I want us to be. Absolutely.
No, but where do you think you'll be? Do you think that's where you'll be, or
that's where I want us to be? 5th. Fight Champions League football. Exactly. But I said this.
Like how you answered that.
I said that's exactly
he doesn't think it. He doesn't think it.
No, being honest, I'll be honest with you. I think where I want us to be is around 5th. But I think Tottenham have strengthened really well, and Tottenham will be in that conversation. And I expect Chelsea to be in that conversation. And so I think, and I hope it will be us 3 fighting out for any one of those positions. Any one of those 3 teams could finish 4th, 5th, or 6th. And that's genuinely how I see it. Now, do I think that we're capable of finishing there? Absolutely. And I want us to go there. Like I said, that should be Newcastle United's priority, is getting back-to-back Champions League. If we can get 5th, 4th would be even better. If we can get that, that's fantastic for me. That's exactly.
I don't see how you get it, Pete.
Maybe not. But what I'm saying to you is that's what I expect of my club this season to fight for. We should be fighting to get back-to-back Champions League, because that is going to take us on to a next level. Whether we get it or not is a different thing. But
I think yes, and I just think your start. My assessment on Newcastle is this: I think your starting 11 is weaker, but your squad is deeper. That's my assessment on Newcastle. I think you finished 7th.
Okay.
Do you think you've got a stronger squad than them, Wolfie?
He wants to say yes, but the reality is no.
On par.
Your
I think
squad
we're
is
stronger
not-
in certain places and weaker in others.
Your squad is not stronger than Newcastle United's, Wolfie.
I didn't say it was stronger, but on par.
Okay, on par. What I'm saying to you, for me, it's not on par.
Yeah, it's subjective, bro.
Is stronger than
Loved
yours.
Edge. I think Forest have got a good side. Like, let's not beat around the bush. But I've got Newcastle to finish 5th because I do think they've got quality, and I do think Eddie Howe is a very good manager, and he gets the best out of the players. I think when you look at what he's done to improve some of them players, I think we sometimes brush over what he's done with some of the individuals. And look, I know a lot of people think I love off Newcastle, and I do rate them, but 5th is not me saying, wow, Newcastle exceptional. Like, everyone needs to bow down to them because they should be, in my opinion, getting Champions League again if they want to push on. And I know they've lost Isak, I get it, but they have actually made some good signings, Newcastle. People forget that they didn't actually have a shambolic window in terms of incomings in the end, because if Almeida can actually get in the head, I rate Visser a lot, actually. Obviously, you've got the centre-half in, which I think you needed. If Spotman can stay fit, you've got brilliant fullbacks. You brought in a goalkeeper that I actually do rate. I know a lot of people don't, but I think he's good, and I've seen him week in, week out. I think Newcastle will be all right. I think the Champions League could be an issue, but maybe you don't go that far in that and you concentrate on trying to look at the league form. I don't know. Have to see. But that's where I'm at with it, man. Let me do these supers quick, and then we'll get out of here. What's this one? KV. Wasn't Wirtz meant to replicate Trent's numbers? I don't know, Errol, was he?
I'm not necessarily in the Trent's numbers, but I think Trent's creativity, I think that's a fair assessment.
Yeah. I think you will miss Trent more than people have given you credit for. Although I think Frimpong has been miles better than Kirkes. My God.
I actually don't. I think they won't miss Trent at all.
Okay.
I think Frimpong is going to be just fine. And I think Trent is very, very overrated as a player. I don't think they'll miss him one bit.
Okay. I'm a Trent fan, so I know he's Marmite. I actually think he's quality, but some people don't, so I get it. I think Kirkes has been an absolute disaster, and I rate him, by the way, but he has been absolutely abysmal. Well, has like horrific start, hasn't it? It's just, I know he was okay against us, against Madueke, but my God, I've seen some bad things from him individually. And he says, my bad for being late. Big up the panel as always, especially my two guys on there now. With that being said, get Ange out my club. Wolfie, he's a clown.
And
in case I wasn't
about
clear,
this.
get Ange out my wow, it literally just got there. He wants him out already.
Andy, we've spoken about this. Keep it in house, bro. Keep it in.
I've got to say, it's something that I must admit. I don't know how this is going to go. I think it's going to Nottingham Forest is going to be a team I'm going to watch now very, very closely to see if I see this change. But it could work, man. It could work. Look, we're going to leave it there, people. Big up to everyone that's been here. It's been a great show, actually. It's been absolutely lit. I'm going to be going over to the Highbury squad. Me and Soph are going to be talking all things Arsenal, so we're going to redirect you over there. So please show some love to her and join us there. Don't go anywhere. Make sure you're following Errol, Redmen TV, Redmen TV 2, Errol on his social handle there. Make sure you're following Rich. Rich, how can people shout you?
Yeah, Villa Park Podcast. Get on there. Just hit 6K on the road to
Love
10K.
that.
So all the subscriptions would be more than appreciated.
Love that. Make sure you're following LB as well. He's had to shoot off and Deji Spurs. Likewise, make sure you're following Forest Fan TV and Loaded Mang NUFC with Pete and the guys over there. I'm sure we'll be doing something next week as well as we look to preview that game as well. So big up to all of you guys for coming on. Make sure you hit like and subscribe. We're getting up to the big 6-0, creeping there closely. So make sure that we can get there. And make sure you're following and showing some love to OK Jerseys, who are the sponsors of this show. I'll see you over on Highbury Squad. Take care. We're out of here, people. Layers.